Addict, 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 addict. You know, crack addict. He's a crack addict, smoking crack addict.
In this world, accessible of kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Piss-Drunk fraternity guy, you got my ass with bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to decide to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, we're so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. Oh, I just can't understand it. Conquered divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in a blue, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats ready to gag. Nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public lamented, put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, so let the flunkies will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do the show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you're listening on the podcast, please check us out live sometimes. It's fun, I guess. You can support this project at echoplexmedia.com. Click the support link at the very top of the website, and you can make your own decisions from there. I don't know, I suggest you buy a hat. You can buy a hat at eplex.store. Other great items there, and memberships. You get early access to Used to Be a Spy. You get early access to Cast of Characters, and you get this show a day before it comes out, and you get it's in its entirety, including Red Light. Also available at patreon.com/Echoplex, although I'm not sure those are good things to have. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave, and this is, as always, what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. And there's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, donate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Donate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Donate the cops. Oh, donate the cops. Donate the cops. Oh, donate the cops. Like your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong like your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fairest judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Donate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job. Donate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Donate the cops. 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 Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops.
Well, everybody, there was an election on Tuesday. Prior to the election, some people were saying some things. This is Alina Habba. And before the election, she was just straight up threatening the people of New Jersey with voter fraud charges.
The U.S. Attorney's Office will coordinate with our partners at the FBI to respond to complaints related to the upcoming general election. This office will investigate and prosecute any criminal activity related to the election process, including intimidating or bribing voters, buying and selling voters, impersonating voters, altering voting ballots and tallies, stuffing ballot boxes, and marking ballots for voters against their wishes or without their input. And it will do so regardless of who commits those crimes.
Like, they're just like, we're going to get you. We don't know what for. We don't know if it's going to happen. We're going to get you, though. This was definitely about the New Jersey election, which is kind of crazy because there were some people saying that one was going to be a squeaker, but New Jersey is like one of the most solidly like Democratic states in the country. That shit wasn't going to be no squeaker. Here is Press Secretary Leavitt. She's sure that there's a voter fraud in California. The election for Prop 50 hadn't happened yet, but she's sure there's voter fraud. And when she's asked about the voter fraud, she has not really much of an answer.
Caroline, the president posted on Truth Social that the voting underway in California is, quote, rigged. What evidence does he have of that, and what does it mean that mail-in ballots in that state are under legal and criminal review? By whom and why? And also, in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system, it's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Rigged.
Fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, in the names of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law. Stephen.
Yeah, they're always like, we have the evidence, then they never fucking present it because there really isn't any. There are little cases here and there where people vote who shouldn't. A lot of those are places where a felon can't vote and a felon tries to vote or whatever, but that stuff gets caught. There was one in Orange County where somebody like registered their dog to vote or whatever, but it was like one in Orange County and it got caught. And they talked about it at the Huntington Beach City Council, actually, that we watched a few weeks ago. So it's really not that big a deal. Here, this is on CNN, the day before the election. Like, I mean, you don't really got to always love David Hogg. You know, he's like, whatever. But you know, he did dirty by the Democratic Party. They got a habit of doing that to people, but check out what he said to this motherfucker on CNN.
He's probably going to win. I mean, it's a Democrat town and they're going to elect a socialist to run the financial capital of the world. I mean, you know, you gave him $300,000. That's interesting. That's probably the only 300 non-Islamo Marxist grant that he got. I saw Linda Sarsour today bragging about all the money that's coming from all over the world. So
for their elections in New York.
You know, look.
And honestly, I think part of the reason he's so powerful is because people are tired of being lectured by men with Rolexes on CNN about affordability in this country. That's the real reason.
Oh, fucking get him. Oh, no. That's fucking cool. He's like, sorry. Hey, man, you're wearing a Rolex. Shut the fuck up. He like pointed at the dude's watch. Oh, man. So there was an election in Cincinnati where J.D. Vance's like half brother was running, and on a Flashpoint, which we don't really cover enough, we probably should cover it more. They were praying. I forget the guy's name. Everybody's forgotten the guy's name because nobody fucking voted for him. They're gonna pray for J.D. Vance's fucking half brother to win the Cincinnati mayorship here on Flashpoint.
Let's just pray right now for Corey, his race, protection, of course, for his family. Not everybody likes us, and he needs that protection and wisdom. Please.
Notice how they're not praying for him to win because they know he's not going to win.
Heavenly Father, right now, we just pray a mantle, a covering of protection over Corey. In this final stretch, I pray that you would give him wit and wisdom to rise up to every challenge that he is facing. And I pray, Father, that you give him a grace and a favor before the voting block. Father, that people would understand that when we turn to you, and by turning to you in a practical way, it's electing people that are godly, people that are God-fearing, that are Bible-believing, that are church-attending. In this case, a man of God, a pastor. And we believe, Father, that this will be a true shepherd for the city of Cincinnati. And so we just pray wisdom, we pray strength, we pray open doors, and protection, God. We know we're living in critical times. There's a target on our backs as conservatives. But Father, your word declares that if God is for us, who can be against us? We're going to stand on that word. We're going to believe for divine protection, that nobody could snatch us out of your right hand, Father. And we pray that over Corey in Jesus' name. Amen. And
amen. Amen.
Well, God could be maybe God wasn't for you, man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have a direct line to God, but it seems like if God's deciding all these elections, he or she or they, God has they, them pronouns, actually. And hell mad at you, it looks like. Up next, we watched this on Tuesday during our election coverage, but it bears repeating. Fucking Chris Cuomo was not fucking happy with the results of the mayoral election on Tuesday night. Oh boy, howdy was he not happy.
Like any of those ideas. However, Trump had another reason to pay attention to this race, okay? The president will quickly tell you that he is no fan of my brother, or of mine, by the way, and that's okay. But I believe he and his people are looking at this race because they see what can beat them in the midterms. And the lineup...
So you think he's watching because he sees the same energy?
It is MAGA on the other side with more people and more intensity than we saw with MAGA.
But let me ask, what succeeded for Republicans? So if we go back to the Tea Party in 2010, and so if the idea here is a parallel construction between whether it's no kings or whatever, the moment for the Democratic Party now and the way the Tea Party was going into the 2010 election. What worked for Republicans in 2010 and 2014 was what? Not weird, not crazy, right? Remember?
Oh, that's what I remember about the Tea Party was that it wasn't crazy. Does everybody remember how not crazy the Tea Party was?
Christine O'Donnell, I'm not a witch.
Yeah.
What didn't work for Republicans again and again and again during the populist counter-reaction movement and all of that stuff, what worked for them was being boring and normal, right? That's what actually, the party that can most convincingly depict normality is the party that can win with these persuadable
I'm with you,
votes.
but everyone's sitting at this table. And you can say, well, that's bubble. Yeah, but the power's in the bubble also. So that's not what Democrats believe. Democrats believe they have to be like what beat them. That's why Gavin Newsom, who, say what you want about him, this is a measured guy, this is a smart guy, this is a think, then speak, and if it goes the wrong way, find a way out of it, polished politician. He is acting the buffoon with these tweets with Trump.
You dumb fuck. They're doing it on purpose. They're doing it because it's ridiculous. What is this guy talking about? They're not doing it like sincerely. This isn't sincerity. Like what is this guy has no idea what he's talking about.
And he has never been more popular. And they want a gross muscularity of response. That's why the Prop 50, say what they say, do what they say. I don't care what Jay Jones said in his text. You should be angry. These are Nazis. These are fascists. That is captured in this movement. And there's something else that's very controversial. The idea that Mamdani's going to get jumped by the New York media after this, no. Because his brand of being a little too welcoming, of very divisive talk about Jews and...
Get the whole fuck out of here.
Being a Muslim, an Islamist, an extreme Islamist, very different, is very powerful on the left part of the Democratic Party.
It's very powerful on the left party, the Democratic Party, in places like New York City.
Right, and I think the media will leave them alone because of that. They'll be afraid of them coming after them.
Oh, of their own particular group inside New York.
This is the bad read on Gavin Newsom. We probably didn't notice it much on Tuesday. The bad read on what Gavin Newsom's people are doing is stunning. They're not doing that because they think that that style of politics is going to work for them. They're doing that to make fun of Donald Trump. That's all it is. They're making fun of Donald Trump. And it's pretty effective. And there ain't nobody that's watching that stuff that Gavin Newsom's people are doing on Twitter and thinking that that's genuine. It is like clearly a goof to like sort of shine a light on what kind of shit Donald Trump is posting on Truth Social. And if they don't understand that, then they have really no business even being like political pundits. But also Chris Cuomo just mad that his brother lost. And this shit about the Jews is stupid. There's no, like, it's not anti-Semitic. They're just not. Here's AOC after Mamdani was announced as the winner.
We're going to fight for working families. We're going to stand with immigrants. We're going to stand with the diversity of this city. And we're also going to make sure that, first and foremost, that this is a city that working people will not be displaced out of.
What do you say to President Trump because he'll withhold billions of dollars from New York, make it impossible for Zohran Mamdani to cover?
Well, I think that President Trump was
was a little bit hard to hear, but I don't know if she's right about messing with New York. You mess with the whole country. A lot of people in the country that fucking hate New York City, but like whatever. The election results had just come in. So up next, we got Newsmax. This clip is fucking great. Check this out.
Mr. Mayor, stand by. We understand President Trump has weighed in on Truth Social. And actually, as we get that ready to go, let's put it up. Yeah, there we go. Trump wasn't on the ballot and shutdown were the two reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight. Huh. Okay. Tom?
Do you think that they weaponized the food and the shutdown?
Yeah, look, everybody was saying, well, why are they digging in their heels? Why are the Democrats doing that? Well, if you wanted to win in Virginia, if you wanted to win the governor's race and the AG's race in Virginia, for instance, you have the highest per capita percentage of public employee union members and federal workers, all of whom have been furloughed, all of whom were ticked off, and all they did was show up to vote. They showed up in huge numbers in Northern Virginia today. Made a big difference, I think, in that race, and I think it also made a difference in the AG's race as well.
And perhaps the shutdown was kind of kept going by Democrats for that very reason.
Exactly.
I can't claim
A strategy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of reports also were hearing, oh, well, the shutdown will probably end this week. Why? Because the election is over. And I do think it was a strategy.
We're hearing reports of like people reading the tea leaves.
Absolutely.
All right, Rob Astorino is standing by at the wall with much more. Hello, Rob.
Oh, man, it's like a funeral in here, huh?
You got to lighten up. Nobody has died. You're right.
All right.
Found the secret lib.
So let's talk a little bit about the next bad news. This is going to be in California, where Prop 50 is on the ballot. And this is also known as the actual term, the Election Rigging Response Act. Think about that. Election Rigging Response Act. That's what Gavin Newsom named it. And he raised $120 million for it. Good for him. I mean, you got to give him props for doing that. And they're going to get out their vote in California. Polls are still open, but it's expected that they will make a difference now in California by temporarily, allegedly, suspending the so-called Bipartisan Citizens Redistricting Committee and then put it in the legislature's hand, all Democrats, to change the election districts for Congress going into next year. Why? They want to match what Texas did. Texas may pick up 5 seats for Republicans. California is expected, they think, maybe could pick up 5 seats if they change the maps from what it is now to this. You see all the blue and a lot less red. Will it happen? Well, it's very possible. There's 5 Republican members that they're going to target here. I would say Darrell Issa would probably still be able to hold on in the San Diego area. Kevin Kiley's district, perhaps he could still hold on, but they're going to go after these guys right here, Baldeo, Calvert. Baldeo's actually been able to win in these races, and La Malfa.
Mostly, that's like the only reason. I think it ended up because I was like iffy on Prop 50. The only reason I ended up voting yes on Prop 50 was fuck Doug LaMalfa.
So we'll see if that passes, then they will actually change the law temporarily in California. But here's the but, okay? Other states are looking like Missouri, Republican states, Missouri, Ohio, New Hampshire's looking at it as well. So they're going to potentially redistrict, which would help Republicans. So this is a whole mishmash. Let's see what happens in California first. Polls close at 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 Eastern.
So the one in Texas isn't as like strong, actually. The Texas one, they're a lot of the districts they drew were like kind of lean Republican districts, and they even turned some solidly Republican districts into lean Republican districts. So that one could actually backfire on them because they're idiots. This one in California looks like it's not going to backfire because also we're expecting, unless things change dramatically, we're expecting like a larger than usual turnout in the midterms. So larger than usual turnout anywhere generally favors the Democrats. So here's more. Here's just more. I have just a list of, we'll call them takes on the Mamdani win. Here's more from Newsmax.
Republicans did not win last night, but Democrats really didn't win either. Democrat socialists had their biggest night ever last night after a communist was elected mayor.
Communist.
Democrat
Socialist Party of America. Ilhan Omar tweeting last night, "Praise be to Allah" in Arabic, because that's a normal thing for a United States congresswoman to do, isn't it?
I mean, if she speaks Arabic and she's a Muslim, sure, yeah, that's fucking all right. Also, she is beautiful. Fuck you.
Something out in Arabic. Tweet in the language of the country that you immigrated from, not the country that you immigrated to. A country that's so amazing that it made you a member of Congress and you're tweeting in a foreign language. And after 8 years of Bill de Blasio and 4 of Eric Adams, the people of New York City just elected the most.
Look at, he was all trying. He's trying to be. He's like, I'm normal. I'm eating French fries.
In American history, right up there with Jefferson.
That was kind of cringe when Blasio did. Bill de Blasio did that.
And if you've ever been to New York City, maybe you haven't, but if you have been to New York City, hold on to those memories, because the city will never be the same again, which is exactly what Zohran Mamdani wants to happen. Zohran never lied to us. From the very beginning, he told us who he was.
Yeah, this is like an ad. I'd fucking, if I was from his, like, if I was for his re-election campaign, I would just cut this guy saying Zohran never lied to us. Even Newsmax endorses him as an honest broker.
A man who spends his free time with terrorists. Remember this little number right here. The guy in the white, an unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. That photo was taken 19 days ago.
So unindicted co-conspirator means somebody thought that maybe he had something to do with it, but they didn't even have the goods to get an indictment on a bombing of a fucking building charge. I bet homeboy innocent.
Never lied to us. And Zohran told us what he wanted to do to New York City and to America.
Yeah, unindicted co-conspirator just means that somebody somewhere said that they thought he did something. That doesn't mean shit, man. On that fucking, if you bombed the World Trade Center in 1993, if you had anything to do with it, if you had lunch with some motherfucker who had lunch with some other motherfucker who knew the guy that did it, you're getting indicted as a co-conspirator. It's amazing. Hold on. We got more. This is from Fox News. This is Raymond Arroyo. I don't know who the fuck Raymond Arroyo is. But here he is saying that Mamdani is going to start quoting Muhammad Atta.
Well, somebody thought differently, but look, Laura, Messing went to the wall on this election. She reposted something on social media. This was it. The ballot reads, "A Democrat and an actual communist jihadist, a literal Karl Marx quoting American-hating jihadist." Now, though Messing's exaggerating a little bit, that speech he gave once he won did not exactly calm the waters. He mentioned Eugene Debs. That was the guy, the first Socialist Party nominee for president. Debs last ran for president from prison. He was found guilty of sedition. The only thing missing from that speech, Laura, was a quote from Aaron Burr and Muhammad Atta, but give him time. He's not.
Give him time. Give him to Aaron Burr. Aaron Burr killed Lincoln. You would hate Lincoln now. You'd call Lincoln woke. He wanted to free the slaves.
My goodness. That blast from the past, literal. What else, Greg?
I knew you'd like that one.
Did she just refer to Aaron Burr as a blast from the past?
My goodness.
Okay.
That blast from the past, literal. What else, Greg?
I knew you'd like that one. Amazingly, the people who voted for Mamdani.
Oh, he killed Alexander Hamilton. I'm sorry. I had the wrong assassin. My mistake.
Very odd reasons, Laura. Listen.
He has directly addressed Trump and his abuse and power.
I, as a New Yorker, felt represented with him. Andrew Cuomo did not represent me.
Mamdani is someone who's going to speak for all New Yorkers.
Oh, isn't that
Can
sweet?
we pull the Jews and Deborah Messing? You know, they may have something different to say.
Well, at least Alex Soros, he notched another win. He claims that Mamdani's victory means the American dream continues, but I thought the billionaires were out the door. I guess certain billionaires are okay.
The American dream won't continue if Mamdani makes good on those campaign promises, Laura.
Is it not the American dream was to be able to pay your fucking rent?
ازيك يا باشا.
Oh, look at that kitty. I never saw that shot of him petting that kitty. Come on. He was petting a kitty.
ونربي أولاد.
Did you catch that? Can you do the translation?
No,
Laura? Something
I can't.
about New York is expensive, but I guess he's speaking for all New Yorkers again.
Well, at least he actually speaks Arabic, which is more than I can say for Spanish mutilating New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill and Spanberger in Virginia.
No. This is great. Oh, these are great. Here's more Flora Ingram.
All right, last night wasn't a Democrat wipeout of Republicans so much as a socialist wipeout of the Democrat Party.
The future is in our hands. My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty. I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. But
that's a great line. Oh, do you remember at the debate when they were asking how much everybody's rent was? And Solo lives in this 300 square foot apartment. I forget what he said it was. Mamdani was like $2,400. Then Cuomo was like $8,400 or some shit. Like he was paying almost $100,000 a year in rent.
let tonight be the final time I utter his name as we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few.
Doesn't it sound so appealing? Appealing to voters who were either not born here or who were taught to resent American history and our way of life? And of course, social media snippets can make socialism seem so cool. It can make communism seem doable. Disaffected minorities and the proletariat will finally get their due.
Speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. This city is your city, and this democracy is yours too.
Oh, how sweet. But peel back the onion, and Mamdani is just another seething leftist, acting out on his messianic mission of soaking the rich and hating on Trump.
Seething, dude, they're never going to be able to paint this guy that way. His rhetoric is not angry. He's assertive, and he says what he believes and is willing to go after people and institutions that he thinks are failing people, but angry? They tried to paint Obama with that shit too, and it didn't work because people are like, "That guy doesn't seem that mad to me." Up next, we got Daily Wire's Matt Walsh citing everybody's favorite news source VDare about the declining white population of New York City. Oh God! Oh no!
Now, these numbers represent a drastic shift in more ways than one. And don't listen to anyone who tries to tell you, oh, it's always been this way. New York has always had a significant immigrant population. It's been this way for many generations.
Yeah, but it used to be that those immigrants were mostly white Europeans. I understand I already know what he's going to say.
Well, yes, but not all immigration is the same.
Uh-oh.
These immigrants are now coming from very different parts of the world compared to where they were coming from 100 years ago. This chart prepared by VDare demonstrates this, as you can see here. And according to the U.S. New York
fucking VDare. Oh, man. Couldn't you have just gotten this stuff from the Census Bureau instead?
98% white in 1910. 98%. 90% in 1950, 77% white in 1970, then it dropped to 52% in 1980, 44% by 1990. By 2020, it was down to 32%. So from almost everybody is white to a small minority, 32% in the span of about 100 years. Now, that is a demographic transformation that's inevitably going to result in massive cultural changes, and those changes have not been positive. That's just a fact. So anyone
what changes? What are you talking about?
Because, oh, you're doing identity politics. Even people, even conservatives, well, this is identity politics. We need to be past this. Oh, shut up. This is just the reality. It's a thing that's happening. Okay? We got to talk about the things that are happening in the country.
I mean, somebody does, but not you.
Zohran Mamdani's talking about it during his victory speech last night. Zohran Mamdani made all this very explicit. Watch.
I wonder what might have happened after 1960, because you saw basically after 1960 it started going down. I wonder if elements of the Civil Rights Act made it so that possibly people who weren't white were more likely to be counted in the census. There's any number of reasons that you saw that line, especially 1970 to 1980, go down the way that it did. I bet some of it is the way in which the census was done post Civil Rights Act. Here is fucking apartheid Clyde on the Joe Rogan show talking about Mamdani, and he can't even do it in the easiest softball venue in the world for somebody like apartheid Clyde. He just fucking kind of glitches out when he's asked about it.
Mamdani is a charismatic swindler. I mean, you got to hand it to him. He can light up a stage, but he has just been a swindler his entire life.
What else has he done that makes him a swindler?
Well, I guess if you say if you say to any audience whatever that audience wants to hear, instead of having a consistent message, I would say that is a swindly thing to do. Yeah. Yeah, but he is charismatic.
Oh man, that's one of the world's least charismatic swindlers, just bitching that somebody else who he thinks is a swindler actually has some charisma. God damn. Joe Rogan wasn't even trying to get him there, I don't think. He maybe thought there was an example. He thought maybe he would say something about his immigration paperwork or something like that. Musk was like, oh, I don't know, he's telling people things. We got one more. Oh, this is about the crisis in New York City. This is Bartiromo with Kelly Loeffler. Oh, it's a crisis, folks.
This is going to be a crisis in the city of New York. To have a communist in there talking about seizing the means of production, taking away opportunities from small businesses, raising taxes, making promises that can't be kept. It's a cautionary tale for the rest of the country, but this is what the Democratic Party is. This is the face of the Democrat Party now, and you saw that with everyone coming in and bowing to him, and this is why this is what's at stake. It's the future of our country. It's free enterprise is at risk now.
Yep.
And small businesses are going to be the first to suffer.
All right, Kelly.
Aw. I don't think small business is going to suffer in New York any more than it already does, because it's actually hard to like you mentioned the bodega owners and stuff. It's actually hard to run like a bodega or any kind of small business in New York City. All right, we're done with that. But everybody, did you know that Walmart, the Thanksgiving feast from Walmart, the price went down on it? Now, a little bit of fact checking showed that they're offering a smaller turkey and fewer items, and more of the items are store brand in their Thanksgiving feast. But that doesn't matter; it's cheaper.
This has been a major achievement for your administration, targeting the segment of our population that needs it the most, that has the highest obesity rates. You're making it affordable. You are truly saving lives. That's coming from the viewers that we've had in that 1 hour that we took a little bit of a break. My question to you is, Walmart just pushed out a report that says this year's traditional Thanksgiving meal will cost 25% less than it did under the Biden administration, plus gas prices being down in the $2 region makes it more affordable to travel to grandma's house this Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. And it's not so much a question, it's a statement. I would have made the statement, but we have a lot of things happening, so I wouldn't necessarily have made it right now. So Walmart to me, that's AAA, came out that nobody going to influence them. I don't know them. But they just came out with a very powerful statement. They've done it for many years, that under the Biden administration, a Thanksgiving meal with all the trimmings cost 25% more. In other words, our Thanksgiving this year coming up will cost 25% less than sleepy Joe Biden's. Now, to me, that's better than anything there is. That's better than a poll. They've got everything included, from the trimmings and from the turkey and from everything, a lot of different items. It's 25% less this year than it was last year when he was so-called in charge. He wasn't in charge. The people around the desk were in charge. The Autopen was in charge.
So yeah, it's like easy to reduce the price of the Thanksgiving meal package when you were offering like 7 or 8 fewer items. The items are all store brand. Nothing wrong with store brand. I don't buy. Like if I was gonna go buy fucking stuffing or whatever, I wouldn't buy the name brand stuffing. But the turkey's smaller. Everything's smaller. So like, for all we know, the same. In fact, I'm assuming that if it would have been the same as last year, it would have gone up. But because they're offering fewer items and because some of the turkey's smaller and stuff, yeah, I guess it went down. So here's Donald Trump, the president, responding to former Prince Andrew. Didn't die, but he's a former prince now.
I wanted to ask about Prince Andrew in the UK has had his royal titles stripped away because of the Epstein scandal. I know you're close to the royal family there. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel very badly. I mean, it's a terrible thing that's happened to the family. That's been a tragic situation. And it's too bad. I mean, I feel badly for the family.
Are you still planning to meet with Jensen Huang? Have you spoken with him after your talk? Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, the CEO of NVIDIA?
Yeah, I've spoken to him. What about it?
So are you planning to meet with him? You said when you
look.
He's like, it's a terrible thing that's happening to the family. No. That didn't happen to the family. That guy did that. And the rest of the family, I mean, they got their own fucking other problems. But the rest of the family, fine. They seem to have made the right decision. They're not going to call him a prince anymore. They've like dethroned him or what the fuck ever. Up next, there was a court order regarding SNAP benefits that it seemed like at first the Trump administration was going to try to not do it. And this was during that time period, but it doesn't matter actually whether or not you think they were going to try to not do it. They're going to comply with the court order, even if they don't.
Very quickly, Caroline, on SNAP. I know it's been asked and I know we asked it, but I want to put a fine point on it. You talked about the president's post here, and he wrote that SNAP benefits will only be given when radical left Democrats open up the government. I understand your previous answers, but as written, how would that not violate the court order as it's written?
I've now answered this question several times, Gabe. We are complying with the court's order. We are getting the payments out the door as quickly as we can. USDA sent the guidance to the state. The president is referring to future SNAP payments. He does not want to have to keep tapping in to an emergency fund and depleting it. In the case of a catastrophe in this country, he wants to have those funds preserved as they should be. And he's made it very clear Democrats should reopen the government. I have one final...
Well, whatever. At least they complied this time. There's nothing really to force them to comply, by the way. They're not going to send the bailiff after the president if he doesn't listen to what the court says. Up next, if this ever loads, whatever. Did you know the president is in optimal mental health? Just always optimal. You cannot fade the president's mental health.
Why did President Trump get an MRI during his recent visit to Wall Street?
Look, as President Trump said, he would inquire with the physicians. I'll check back on that. But as the physical itself stated, Kristen, and as you all know, because you are all witness to it, every single day the president is in optimal physical health. This was a follow-up appointment, and we provided a detailed readout.
Optimal physical health every day, all the time, optimal physical health. I'm not optimal physical health all the time. I get sick sometimes.
I'm happy to give it to you again, and I can inquire further.
With all due respect, an MRI is a very specific procedure. It's done on a part of the body looking for something specific, so it's not generally part of any kind of routine checkup. And in addition, President Trump has said that he wants to be transparent. He told us to ask the doctors, which we have and have not heard back. Why don't we have more information on this?
As I said, I'll check back for you.
So actually, yeah, the doctors can't, like, you have to release the information yourself. The doctor, the president, everybody is protected by HIPAA laws. So the doctor can't actually tell you why, or even if a patient was given an MRI, because they can't tell you that. So telling you to ask the doctor is just the same thing as saying, I refuse to answer your question. And here's somebody's number who it is illegal for them to answer your question. So stop asking. Up next, should the president know who he's giving a pardon to? Well, it's complicated. It's complicated.
Should the president know who he's pardoning?
Well, I don't know anything about this one. That's the first time I've seen that. But I would say the president has the authority to pardon people, and that's within his realm to do it. So I'm not going to question who he pardons or who he doesn't pardon.
But
the Binance co-founder got a pardon, and like the president's like, I don't know who that is. Oh man, don't worry though. It wasn't that he doesn't know who it is so much, is that like they're not homies. It's just that they're not homies. They don't golf together. They don't go on the president doesn't let the guy go on a date with First Lady Ivanka. That's all.
President Trump said to CBS in the 60 Minutes interview that he did not know the Binance founder, which he pardoned. What exactly did he mean from that? I know it caused.
He means he does not know him personally. He means he does not have a personal relationship with this individual. And when it comes to pardons, the White House takes them with the utmost seriousness, and the president understands the responsibility that he has as president to issue clemency and issue pardons to individuals who are seeking that. That's why we have a very thorough review process here that moves with the Department of Justice and the White House counsel's office. There's a whole team of qualified lawyers who look at every single pardon request that ultimately make their way up to the president of the United States. He's the ultimate final decision maker, and he was very clear when he came into office that he was most interested in looking at pardoning individuals who were abused and used by the Biden Department of Justice and were over prosecuted by a weaponized DOJ. And the individual you're referring to, that was certainly the case.
So I don't like the idea of a pardon, like, at all. I mean, I understand there's situations where the pardon is like a good thing, but I think there should be some like kind of review board, or that Congress should have to approve these or something. Because just like being cool with the president doesn't mean that you should get your record wiped or like not have to do time like everybody else does when they get convicted of a crime. Plenty of people are over prosecuted, have like nasty sentences handed down by judges who were just mad at the defense attorney. All kind of shit like that happens. So just the president with the signing of a pen being able to get his homies out of trouble is like really bad. I think it's like one of the stupidest things about our system. I don't like that Joe Biden was able to pardon his son. I don't like that the President Trump was able to pardon. Was it Roger Stone that he pardoned? Or fucking Mike Flynn, or I don't know, he pardoned all these people. So actually, this is all because we're ending the war on crypto, friends. That's because the Trump family is pretty big into crypto scams and rug pulls.
With this individual. And when it comes to pardons, the White House takes them with the utmost seriousness, and the president understands the responsibility that he has as president to issue clemency and issue pardons to individuals who are seeking that. That's why we have a very thorough review process here that moves with the Department of Justice and the White House counsel's office. There's a whole team of qualified lawyers who look at every single pardon request that ultimately make their way up to the president of the United States. He's the ultimate final decision maker, and he was very clear when he came into office that he was most interested in looking at pardoning individuals who were abused and used by the Biden Department of Justice and were over prosecuted by a weaponized DOJ. And the individual you're referring to, that was certainly the case. Even the judge in his case said that the sentencing that the Biden administration was asking for was egregious and went too far. And so the president is correcting that wrong, and he has officially ended the Biden administration's war on the cryptocurrency industry, and I think that's the message he sent with this pardon. Karen.
That's because him and his family have been making a bunch of money on crypto. at the expense of their followers. So here's more news about the president. This is interesting. He went to visit Xi Jinping, and he kind of liked one aspect, actually, of the way that Xi and his advisors interact. And he sort of wishes that would be happening for him, particularly vis-a-vis J.D. Vance.
I put a 100% tariff on China. As soon as I heard it, within 20 minutes, I put a 100% tariff on China. On President Xi, who's really a friend of mine, as much as he can be a friend. He's a tough man. He's a tough man. Smart man, actually. Very smart. The press doesn't like it when I call him very smart. You know, they think I'm not supposed to call him smart. But he leads 1.4 billion people, without question. In fact, during the meeting, we were there. A couple of you were there, and some of you saw it. So he's here, and he's got about 6 people on each side. And every one of those people was standing like this. They were at attention. And I made a comment to one of them, and I got no response. I said, "Are you going to answer me?" I got no response. And President Xi didn't let him have any. So if there's any question, I said, I want my cabinet to behave like that. That's the way. I'm demanding that I want them sitting up like that, Tim, just nice and straight. I never saw posture like that. I've never seen men so scared in their lives. They have the equivalent of a vice president. He was. I said, "Are you going to answer my question?" And he's like, he doesn't move. I said, "What's wrong with this guy?" "I will answer all questions." Why don't you behave like that? JD doesn't behave like that. JD buds into conversations. I want to have that for at least a couple of days, okay, JD? We'll keep you long term, but a couple of days of that would be very, very nice.
This motherfucker hates JD Vance, dude. It's becoming kind of clear that he does not like JD Vance, but he needed that fucking Peter Thiel like money, those weird accelerationists and whatnot. He needed that money from the what we call the dork enlightenment. And so he's just gonna fucking be kind of addicted to JD Vance, which is fine. Like, fuck it. That's the only interesting and cool thing about Donald Trump, is watching him like berate and humiliate Republicans. So this clip is somebody having, some kind of a medical emergency during a press conference. But what I want you to do is I want you to keep an eye on RFK Jr. in this clip. Watch RFK Jr.
You okay? Gordon, you okay?
RFK Jr.'s like, fuck, that guy's like shedding from the vaccine. I gotta get out of here. Fucking ran like the dude was, got out of there like that dude was fucking contagious. So up next, we got, it's the women folk, it's the young voters. That's the problem. This is from Newsmax, and you might notice somebody here. This is Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone worships a space alien. He is a Scientologist.
He's going to freeze the rent, and you know what the end result of that will be? Higher. It will all go higher. Despite what he wants to do, it will all go higher. We'll all watch it happen with amazement. Mercedes, young women in this country have become a very scary demographic. 84% of young women in New York voted for Mamdani last night. They voted to make the city dramatically less safe for themselves.
Yeah, you're talking about not only young women, but we saw the Latino vote also go towards Mamdani, over 50%. I mean, these are two big areas that we know that Donald Trump made a lot of, basically really developed more of that support of that coalition with the presidential election. Obviously, in cities across the country, but I would say in New York City, those are two groups that went towards Mamdani, which I find it to be so concerning. Yeah. But it's a wake-up call, I think, for the MAGA voters, for conservatives, conservative leaders, to hone in on courting the women vote, on courting the Latino vote, the Black vote, the Asian vote also went for Mamdani. Yeah. Look, there's a reality here. We have to understand what's underneath what his message is. When you have the Pakistani foreign minister coming out and saying Mamdani's race, this victory is a proud moment for the progressive movement. The mere fact is that we're seeing socialism not only creep into America, but become a staple of America and become the leading component of the Democrat Party. Us conservatives, us Republicans, us freedom fighters, we got to unite now and wake up and fight even harder as we're going into these midterm elections.
So I don't think Trump did well among young women in New York City during the last election cycle. And when they say Latino voters, it was some like old, like Gen X Latino men actually swung towards Trump, but it wasn't like the way that they're talking about it. The 2024 elections, the Democratic turnout was so bad for a variety of reasons that we're not going to get into right now. Up next, more about the young women. It's the young women's fault, folks.
Last night when we were sitting there, I'm thinking, wait, where have I heard this before? You go back to 2012 and President Obama's team put out The Life of Julia. Okay, this was about a single young woman and how the government, if you're starting at age 22, the government can help you all the way through your life. Look at this. From age 22 to age 31, all the way to age 67. Now, I'm not saying that government should not be a safety net for people. It absolutely should. But what we saw last night all across the board is that young American women are very much far left, and they are buying into all of that. But they have been since, well, some of them since they were young little girls.
Yeah, I find that very frightening.
Oh, she tried. Oh, she fucked. She was like, they have been since, wait a minute, they're young. So since they were 4, actually, that little 4-year-old over there, that bitch is a communist.
You know, we were raised in a generation of you can do anything. You can achieve whatever you want to. You can carve your way in the world. You can be the person who puts food on the table. All of these things, right? And this message is so alien to that. And think about it. The working, Cuomo did best with working class Americans. I don't think he was.
Yes.
Going to win this race, you know, with last night as hindsight. I think that his attempt to make a comeback after the difficulties that he encountered on harassment and COVID were too deep. He was too unlikable to embrace again for New Yorkers. But it was the college kids who voted for Mamdani, who came out in force, not working class, brand new immigrants to this country. And they're now.
Wait, she just said it was the working class that voted for him. She's like, now it's not that she can't even. She's just fucking apoplectic. She can't even keep her fucking lies straight. Who is she? She should get fired. Fuck it, keep her. We need more clips from her. Fuck it, keep her.
A reliable voting bloc. When I was at the White House, I remember it was like, oh, young people, you can't count on them. You can count on these guys.
Your point.
These people are just they can't do this. They're so mad. They're so mad at women being able to vote. So this is a national story, but we're going to go ahead and I like to live dangerously, so we're going to run it from the local news website. As we talk about on the Down Ballot show, a lot of times, like the players on the local news websites don't always work so well. But this is from KTVU News. The DC sandwich guy was found not guilty of assaulting a CBP officer with a submarine sandwich.
To a Fox 5 News alert, it was the foot-long heard around the world. A D.C. man now acquitted for tossing a sandwich at a federal officer. Jurors spent 7 hours in deliberations today. Our Nana sent you a Bones, who is live outside of the courthouse. And today, Nana, we heard from Sean Dunn for the very first time.
We did. We heard from him and his attorneys. We'll listen to that in a few moments. But, you know, over the summertime, Sean Dunn, he was charged with a misdemeanor for tossing a sub at a CBP officer. On your screen is video of the incident. 12 D.C. residents decided Dunn did not impede law enforcement when he tossed a sandwich at the officer, who was positioned outside a gay club featuring a Latin night celebrating on August 10th. Now, Dunn also called officers fascist and racist. All of this happening during the surge of law enforcement officers during President Trump's takeover of the district. Today, Sean Dunn spoke after he was vindicated, saying justice prevails.
And that night, I believe that I was protecting the rights of immigrants. And let us not forget that the Great Seal of the United States says e pluribus unum. That means from many, one. Every life matters, no matter where you came from, no matter how you got here, no matter how you identify. You have the right to live a life that is free.
Now, his misdemeanor acquittal is another setback for prosecutors. They have to backlash for their aggressive charging tactics during the law enforcement surge. The Justice Department had initially sought a felony assault indictment against Dunn, but in a highly unusual move, the grand jury didn't buy it, and the office of the U.S. Attorney General, Jeanine Pirro, then charged Dunn with a misdemeanor. Now, during the trial, Dunn actually never testified, but there is body camera footage of him admitting to throwing the sandwich.
Oh, they couldn't even indict him. I mean, there's that saying about you could indict a ham sandwich for being a ham sandwich, but you can't indict a DC guy for throwing a ham sandwich. Also, like, you saw some of the transcripts from this, it was amazing. The fucking guy was like, I was terrified there was mustard all over me. And then they fucking demonstrated that the wrapper of the sandwich like held, and that he didn't actually get mustard on his uniform. Oh, if you want some good reading, go find like just any of the write-ups about the transcript from this fucking case. It's amazing. I hope this guy runs for something in DC, because I mean he's a folk hero in that city at this point. Oh man, yeah, go absolutely go. Like, you could just go read the transcript yourself, but there are people like journalists out there who have picked out the funniest parts. So we're not going to spend any more time on the sandwich guy, but I do want everybody to like remember the sandwich guy like forever. He's an important American and hero to us all. So here's Mike Johnson. Here he is. Basically threatening us with a good time. I know he's trying to scare people, but all this stuff here sounds fucking great to me. Would sound great to me if there was sound. There's no sound on this clip. Great websites they got out there. We try this another way real quick. Yeah, there doesn't appear to be sound on this clip. Well, anyway, what Johnson said is if the Dems win the majority, they will try to end the Trump administration. He won't have 4 years. He'll only have 2, because they will move to impeach him probably on the first day in 27, and they'll systematically unwind all the reforms. So, yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. Also, Bannon should not be threatening us with a good time in this way.
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop.
Hell yeah.
They're getting more and
this guy probably be pretty popular in prison.
More and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. If you look across every aspect of this, we have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order, right? We have to codify it.
A smattering of applause.
And people say, well, they're just going to be messing bills and Senate. We got to put aside these structural barriers and get on with it. President Trump today gave to the Senate when they came over for breakfast. Even Lindsey Graham, some of the guys that liked, and some of these institutions, I understand. This is a very tough decision to make. And you're going to see some people in the conservative movement that not in a million years, because I talked to him today, quite frankly, I had Hawley on the show this morning, Josh Hawley, and he's talking about it, and I'm trying to play the institution. Well, they called me up this afternoon and said, let's go through the 10 reasons we need to do it. And these are heavy hitters on what I would call the constitutional, limited government constitutionalist in our movement. And they're about to come out over the next couple of days and make this argument because it said, look, we have to understand that if we don't take this to the maximum, a maximalist strategy now with a sense of urgency, and in doing this, seize the institutions, if we don't do that now, we're going to lose this chance forever because you're never going to have another Trump, right? You're just not going to have it.
Yeah, again, don't threaten me with a good time, Bannon. Like, what is he even talking about? That didn't even make any sense. Seize the institutions. you have the executive controls the institutions that you're talking about. It's a big flaw in our system. Up next, though, we have Nancy Mace. She's still freaking about the incident in the airport that we didn't even bother to cover because I thought it was just too mind-expandingly stupid to spend any time on. But her going around and complaining about it like a lot has been a lot of fun to watch. And here's her on, I guess, Fox Business.
Before you go, there are reports that you were involved in a heated confrontation with airport police and TSA agents at the Charleston International Airport Thursday. You posted this on X. TSA wouldn't let me through. So what happened?
Well, one of the rumors last week was that I was blocked by TSA, which was not, in fact, true. Yes, I did have an interaction on Thursday. I want to be very clear here. We saw last year 2 assassination attempts on President Trump. Just a few weeks ago, we all witnessed as Charlie Kirk was assassinated right before our eyes in public. We've seen that Steve Scalise years ago was shot, 4 or 5 times. And in the political environment we have today, there's no room for error when it comes to security. I have at this particular airport and no other. This is the only airport where I have any issues, but my children have had issues here, my employees, but we have had over 24 security breaches at this particular airport just 11 months into this year today. I've been in 4 airports in the last 5 days without incident. So yes, I did confront those who did not show up to do the job. My safety was put at risk. I have had incidences at airports. I had an incident in Chicago earlier this year where a man followed me through the airport, and the Chicago airport security was very swift to ensure that I was safe and get that individual out of there. I had other incidences where someone tried to physically have an altercation with me at one of the DC airports. I'm grateful to the Capitol Police for stepping in, but this is a serious issue, and mediocrity when it comes to airport security and security breaches will not be tolerated when I'm governor and not when I'm in Congress for nobody.
But so why wouldn't they let you through? That's the part that I'm not quite understanding here. What was the reason?
They did let me through. I was let through.
Okay,
yeah, I was let through. But there's a federal process under TSA rules that require federal officials to have law enforcement personally escort us through the crew member line. So there's a process. I waited patiently. I asked for assistance from TSA. They were very helpful. And so we did it eventually. But you know what the Charleston Airport did was also release details about the vehicle that I was dropped off at, putting my safety at risk on Thursday. They released details on where I get dropped off at the airport by releasing video. It's all scary for an individual. I have more than 1,300 death threats a year. And so I take my security very, very seriously. I don't want to be the next person that gets shot and killed.
And and to be clear, other elected officials have used that crew member line. And
all
so
the time.
So this is why. So maybe you're feeling you were maybe targeted by these agents and it was unfair.
Oh, I absolutely have been targeted at this airport. But thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Okay. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, thank you for explaining that. We really appreciate it.
This is all really dumb. She's just mad that they weren't like Johnny on the fucking spot, essentially, to give her what she wanted. She had to wait. That's it. As far as I can tell, she's just mad that she had to wait to get like authorization to go through the different line that the representatives or the government officials at a certain level are allowed to go through. That's it. That's all she seems to be mad about. And she freaked out. It's on video. She's not mad about the video getting released because it showed where she got dropped off. She gets dropped. I mean, like, there's only a few places to drop somebody off at the fucking airport. She's not mad that they showed what kind of car she was in either, because it's probably a rental or like the same or a vehicle that she's in all the time. She was mad because the video showed her freaking out. And I'm telling you, she was just mad that they they had something else to do. And so she had to wait a little bit. I wouldn't know her if I saw her. If I see her like on TV, kind of, I know who she is, but I wouldn't know her if I saw her. So I'm not sure that like she had anything to be worried about. Sometimes at the airport, you gotta wait. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter who you are. Maybe you should get Trump to give you a private plane or something. I don't know. Maybe you can get the Qataris to give you a private plane. Here's Ann Coulter on LBC. That's a British talk show. And she is not happy at all when she gets asked about January 6th.
Every day is like Christmas with Donald Trump. And like I say, it is coming even faster.
January 6th, 2020 was Christmas.
When?
2020, the capital.
Wait, you're going back to that? Please stop. Oh, God, please stop. Anything, please stop. This is all we've heard about for 5 years. You can turn on TV, any station, except I guess Fox, any time of day. I'm so sick of hearing how we almost lost our democracy. Obviously, the American people are too. Let's, to quote liberals, move on.
Was it stolen? The election in 2020?
No, I said it wasn't at the time,
No.
but who cares? Please stop. It was taking over the dean's office. It wasn't an insurrection, and no one can hear about this anymore. He wouldn't have been elected in a landslide if you guys had shut up about that. But no, you had to keep saying we almost lost our democracy. And explain to me how we almost lost our democracy, because these not particularly masters of the universe take over, and what, Nancy Pelosi, the military, the vice president, everybody's going to say, oh, well, I guess we're going to have to let Trump be president now. Well, let's make him king. No, it was a few jerks, mostly taken over the dean's office. And, oh, please, God, stop talking about it.
By the president.
Yes, every day is Christmas.
I love the British press because they're not into this bullshit. He was like, well, they were kind of egged on by the president. So, Ann Coulter, it's a little bit weird. She kind of keeps going back and forth a little bit on this stuff, because for a while she was like against Trump, and in the immediate aftermath of January 6th, she was in fact blaming him for it. And I believe she said that he shouldn't run again. She stopped short, I believe, of saying that he should be thrown in prison or whatever, but she said that he shouldn't run again and that it was fucking embarrassing for him or something along those lines. All right, here in two clips in a row where you're gonna go, wait, what? This is Marjorie the Gathering on The View.
Practically, I yelled at Mike Johnson last week on our GOP conference call. By the way, I'm missing the call today. It's going on right now. And I hope that Mike Johnson is finally giving a single health care policy, because the country deserves it, and it shouldn't be a secret. And I shouldn't have to go into a skiff to go find our Republican health insurance plan.
Maybe there is
Honestly,
no plan.
You know what? You want to know something? That, I believe, is the truth. There's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of bills, but there's no consensus.
Yeah.
And I think that's a failure. I do.
Well, I want.
This is fucking amazing, dude. I think what's going on here, I've been saying this for a couple weeks. She's not like a lib or whatever, but I think she's starting to figure out that she's been fucking had. And people do not like it when they find out that they've been had, right? It's, there's that old saying that it's easier to trick somebody to convince them that they've been tricked. But also, like, once somebody figures out that they've been tricked or misled or whatever, that kind of pisses them off because it hits their ego pretty hard. Especially somebody like Marjorie the Gathering, who was so fucking sure about everything, like all the time, going out and saying wild shit, crazy shit about even crazy shit about like directed energy weapons causing fires and shit. But I think she probably still believes that stuff, but I don't think she believes in like the Republican Party as much anymore. And I don't think she believes Donald Trump, and I don't think she likes Mike Johnson. And I think she realizes that these people have been fucking lying to her this whole time. Again, she's not going to all of a sudden be a lib or whatever, but I think her realizing that she's been had is probably going to push her to like become, like, as crazy as this might sound to people, one of the more moderate Republican representatives. I think she might even get primaried from her right if this keeps up. Going to be wild. In other, I can't believe this is happening. Here's Tiny Dancer Ben Shapiro.
Again, all of this is going to be potent, and all of that's true. The problem for Republicans is they are the party in power. When you are the party in power, things change. People tend to attribute the problems in the world to you. And so if they go to the grocery store, and it's very expensive, and make no mistake, it is very expensive at the grocery store. A week of groceries is going to cost you a lot more than it did 2 years ago. It's stabilized somewhat over the course of the last year, but that doesn't mean the prices went down. It just means the prices remain very high. And wage gains have not really eaten into that yet. I mean, the prices of everything feel very expensive to people right now, and people are not wrong to feel that. And when President Trump says things are becoming more affordable, people don't believe that they are becoming more affordable, because they aren't really more affordable. They might be more affordable compared to where it would have been if Biden were president, but we are no longer in that world. And you can't keep living in that world as the sitting president of the United States, or as President Trump talking about prices.
We've done so much. Energy is way down. Look at energy. We're going to have $2 gasoline. I did that. That brings everything else down. Groceries are way down other than beef. Now, beef is going to come down. We have to do that. You remember when I started, eggs were up by 4 times what they were previous. It was in 2 days in the office and they told me about eggs. I solved that because the fact is we have prices way down. We have prices down. Our country's doing well. The stock,
like when there's examples of prices going way down, they're looking at some lady looking at some fucking little can of tea that's like fucking $12 or $15.
Record highs, like 48 times during my 9 months, and just a couple of days ago it hit another record high, like really record high. It's great, and that equates. It's not just rich people. That's 401ks. I mean, that equates to everybody. And the country's doing very well. But as Republicans, you have to talk about it. Because if you don't talk about it, I saw that they kept talking about affordability. Well, Biden was a disaster with affordability. He had the highest inflation rate in the history of our country. But you have to talk about it. It's no good if we do a great job and you don't talk about it.
Okay, now, he's not wrong about any of that, but there has never yet been a politician who tells people that their feelings about the economy are wrong who ends up doing well in a midterm. I remember when Barack Obama did this, he said, well, they just don't understand. They just don't understand what I'm saying to them. I remember when he did that. I remember.
Ooh, solid Barack Obama from Little Tiny Dancer Ben, actually.
That Joe Biden used to, oh, they don't even understand the gains that we're making right now. And it didn't work for him. And so if people just don't feel good about the cost of groceries, you can't make them feel good by telling them things are great. It doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, because sometimes people are wrong in how but it doesn't work that way. And it also happens to be true that people are just paying a lot more in groceries than they did even a couple of years ago. And when you go to the grocery store, very often, you don't think about what you paid last year for groceries. You think, what did I pay 5 years ago for groceries? And the answer is a lot less. A lot less. And of course, a lot of that is Joe Biden. And over the course of the last year, again, inflation has really moderated. It's down in the 2.7 to 3% range, which is still too high on an annualized basis. But it's a lot lower than it was under Biden when for 1 year it spiked up into double digits. With that said, do people feel good about the price of groceries? The answer right now is no. They do not feel great about the price of groceries.
Damn, even Ben Shapiro. But this is a dude who doesn't do his own fucking grocery shopping. And I think he's also speaking to an audience that I'm able to spend the same as I did on groceries now, but it's because I know where to go. He's speaking to an audience who, if they lived like where I live, they'd be terrified to go down the hill to over by Fruitvale BART to do their grocery shopping, right? He's talking to those people. And so they're like, well, the prices at the Whole Foods are certainly high. The prices at the Farmer Joe's are high. Draeger's, it's expensive to shop at Draeger's. Oh no. Oh, here's Mark Levin. Oh my God, check this out. Mark Levin is not happy with the state of let's say the commentariat on the political right now. Check this out.
We have a lot of work to do. A lot. And if there are politicians out there who are senators and congressmen or in the administration, they don't have the guts to speak out, then what good are they? What good are they? The Mamdani family has been funded by Qatar.
Wait, what?
Isn't that an issue?
Wait, what? The Mamdani funded by Qatar? I haven't heard that yet.
The Mamdani campaign has been funded by a CARE PAC, P-A-C, which was founded by Hamas, for God's sakes. Isn't that an issue?
The Council on Islamic Relations is founded by Hamas.
Or is Netanyahu the problem? Netanyahu the problem? The IDF the problem? They're fighting their own damn war, trying to survive.
I fucking love it when this guy's like an old schooler, right? I bet you go back to episode 1 of the Plex and we were talking shit on Mark Levin.
It's not a shooting war. It's even more complicated. It's more daunting. The kooks on the left and the right, they're stealing our culture. This little bastard Fuentes, he likes to say, well, I'm going to deport Levin. Try it, you little punk.
Ooh, if Mark Levin and Nikki Fuentes go to war, I got to tell you, I think I'm team Nikki Fuentes, just based on the amount of harm that Mark Levin has done to our society, basically my entire adult life. You know, if you got to take sides on that, we're team little Nikki Fuentes.
Try it, tough guy. You and me, one-on-one. Why don't you try deporting me?
Oh, if they brawled, if they like had a bare knuckle boxing matchup, my money would be on Mark Levin. Mark Levin would fight dirty.
You got that fat slob Bannon going on with his next cause. He's going to denaturalize Mamdani. No, he's not. He's a pathological liar. And he's stolen enough money from you and has deceived enough of you. You should blow him off. Then there's Carlson, making tens of millions of dollars in bed with the wrong people, pretending that he's America first. He's quoted by CARE today. Did you know that? Be right back.
Oh, yeah. Fuck you, Mark Levin. Fuck yeah. I'm hell mad that he's hell mad. Now, Mark Levin versus Steve Bannon. I think I'm probably team Mark Levin. Steve Bannon has done a dramatic harm to our society. This guy next is Josh Bernstein. We haven't talked about him in a while. Apparently he has a book out. The only reason I know that he has a book out is, well, it looks like he has a book out. He's going to say that ICE should become the Gestapo for a good cause. And as always, shout out to Right Wing Watch. Could not do this show without organizations like Right Wing Watch.
Let the mass denaturalizations begin, because that's what needs to happen. You can stop so much of this garbage just by doing that. And you know what? This also brings me to this. This is another reason why we've got to clean up our elections. We've got to make sure that these people are gone. We have to basically become the Gestapo, but for a good cause, which is what? Getting rid of people that are not supposed to be in this country by force, no matter what means necessary. You know, they want to call us fascists all the time. Hell, why don't we live up to their expectations, okay?
Oh, yeah, that's a good strategy.
But do it in a good way. Get
Yo, dude. All right. Keep talking.
In this country by force, no matter what means necessary. You know, they want to call us fascists all the time. Hell, why don't we live up to their expectations, okay? But do it in a good way. Get rid of these people in our country. And if we don't do it, well, we might be having a different conversation come November of 2026.
Oh, what conversation is that going to be? Like, now they're moving on to like denaturalize, like the people who went through all the fucking paperwork and all the court dates and shit who have been naturalized. They did the little fucking citizenship test, put their hand on their heart and said they love America and all that bullshit that you have to do to come here. Now they're trying to get rid of them because of the wrong color. Maybe have the wrong imaginary friend and shit. Not great. We got a few more stories here before we go into red light. Looks like we're going to come in under 2 hours, which is a deliverance. I thought this was going to be a fucking long ass show, but I mean, I kind of kept the pace up here. This was a pastor who's you'd find a dumb fucking white pastor in America mad at anything. This guy didn't like soccer.
Let's stand together tonight. I know you teenagers are tired. You ran around and kicked the ball. How many played soccer today? Did you play soccer today? Was that part of the thing? No? Thank God. Soccer's for queers. I mean, I'm gonna tell you that right now. Ain't no man running around in shorts kicking a ball. I mean, come on now. Look at me, people. Look at me. No. Football, that's like somewhere in another country. Football, that's when you hit somebody so stinking hard the mama feels it.
American football is like pretty gay too, if you think about it. I mean, I don't care, but like the quarterback sticks his hand in some other dude's crotch. Like, I don't know. It's just sports, baby. I don't care. Play soccer, play American football. I don't care. Fucking let the kids play fucking sports. And if gay kids want to play soccer, that's fucking good. Let the gay kids play soccer too. Fucking what the absolute fuck. Up next, we got, I don't know who this Nate Schnatzlein, whatever. I don't know who he is. I guess he's new to the docket. But he's cracked the fucking code, everybody. And once again, shout out to Right Wing Watch. Good people over there.
The Muslim false god of Allah commands Muslims to lie. They call it taqiyya. Why is that important? Because now that you have this information, number one, that's straight from the religious text of Islam. That they are allowed to...
You mean the Quran? You can't even think of the fucking name of the book?
Lying. It's called taqiyya.
You should read that sometime. It's a good read.
And if I'm mispronouncing it, oh well. We understand now what we're up against, that there is a spirit of deception that goes right along with a blessing in the religion of Islam. So they are blessed when they lie. I went ahead.
But don't we call little white lies
up what this was. And this taqiyya means to lie when you're under persecution. Now, persecution could just mean someone doesn't believe what you believe. And so they're coming against your beliefs. In other words, you're not going to get elected because you believe in Sharia law. Well, then we have to lie, taqiyya. We have to take place and lie. What do you
I believe in Shakira law.
How is that practically going to happen? You really
hips do not lie.
Think that they're going to start implementing these policies? Absolutely. We're seeing Sharia cities pop up in Texas, of all places, and all across America. This is why we have to outlaw them. But hear me on this. We now have to apply it to the public policy positions of the elected Muslims that we see. So when you look at a Muslim who is currently elected in the United States of America, Ilhan Omar is a great example. Openly Muslim, and she...
Well, yeah, that's how you know she's Muslim, is that she's openly Muslim. Okay, so far we have a Muslim elected official. One of the things that we know about them is that they're openly Muslim. All right. Also, it's Elon, not Elon. Elon is a South African fucking trillionaire now, nearly a trillionaire.
So actively vote for pro-abortion policies. However, she herself will never have an abortion.
Right. That's called representing your constituency. If she herself would not have an abortion because she's against it for herself, but she will vote in favor of abortion rights for others because that's what her constituents want, or maybe even that's what her conscience tells her, is that I will not have one. My religion, it is against my religion, but it is not my religion's job to tell somebody else what to do. That's fucking totally normal. Those are the good fucking church people that live in your community and mine.
And the reason is because she's never going to kill a Muslim child, but she definitely wants Christians.
Oh no, it's the great replacement. Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Jews to kill their children. We look at, these Muslims that are elected to office, like the one that I debated yesterday at SMU. And we see this, and it's so interesting. They will continuously advocate for social welfare programs that take away from the taxpayer and replace God with government and local church with government. And you wonder, it's like, what? Okay, are you advocating for Muslims to take part in these programs? Of course not. This is why they're Muslims.
Wait, what?
And there is lying.
Wait, what? Are you advocating? Yes, when you advocate for a social welfare program, you're probably just advocating for anybody who meets the requirements. What are they like? Wait, what the whole fuck is he talking about?
Communities take care of their community.
I want to see this guy's debate that he had with somebody. This guy probably got his ass fucking kicked. Maybe by like a 9-year-old.
What they're advocating for is not that Muslims would join social welfare programs. What they're advocating for is that Christians, Jews, infidels would join those social welfare programs. And then in 50 to 100 years, maybe sooner, when Islam rules as the prime law of the land, and we see things like the 10...
remember when Sam Harris said that shit was going to happen in France in 10 years? They keep moving it back.
Our biblical foundation thrown out the window, then Christians and Jews are in complete submission to the Muslims in power because they control our social welfare programs. People, it's not a conspiracy theory. I'm trying to expose the evil and the darkness that is surrounding this.
This guy's like a little bit whiny, isn't he? He seems like he's kind of bitching about this stuff. He doesn't seem. I don't know. He just seems a little whiny, a little bit whiny. We all get that way sometimes, by the way. But you know, if you're not pretending to be some big bad man, it's okay to be a little whiny sometimes. Speaking of somebody pretending to be a big bad man, here's Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, just gonna always Matt Walsh.
Okay, first of all, the DOJ should be announcing an investigation into Wanda Sykes today. She just confessed to a civil rights violation. She just confessed to a crime. I mean, that's what happened there. She confessed to a federal crime. Racial and gender discrimination in hiring is against the law. The EEOC should be investigating, just as they would if any white man.
I'm sorry, Wanda Sykes?
Up there and said that he gives the edge to white men in hiring. I mean, can you imagine any white man saying that and not being immediately sued into oblivion, if not thrown in prison? No, you can't imagine that. So same should apply here. But you also see the game.
Like literally fucking apartheid Clyde went into Twitter and did that. What are you talking about?
That these people play, right? This is the gaslighting. So here is Wanda Sykes explicitly admitting that she will hire a black woman regardless of her qualifications, admitting that if a woman, especially a black woman, is even...
Okay, also, check this out. Is this part of like a comedy skit? Like, is she doing like a routine? Because she is a stand-up comedian.
Qualified. She said that. She said, well, the man could be up here and maybe the woman's a little down here. I'm still going to choose the woman. So explicit, just coming out...
Are you going to show it or what?
Yeah, I'll take the less qualified person because of their gender and or race. And she admits this on stage to a cheering crowd.
Oh yeah. This is she's doing stand up. She's doing comedy. She's at a show.
And yet, if we then turn around and say that DEI hires are less qualified, then we get called racist, even though they admit it. So they say, we hire less qualified black women because they're black women. And then we say, oh, so you hire less qualified black women just because they're black women. And they say, what? How dare you say that? Well, no, we didn't say that. You said it.
Didn't he say he was going to show the clip of Wanda Sykes supposedly doing this?
You just said it like a second ago, and we're repeating what you said. You literally just said that that's what you're doing, and we see you doing it, and so we are pointing out that you're doing it. But that's the game, and of course, you know, and the result is that now, because of this sort of thing, not just because of Wanda Sykes, but because she's a small symptom of a larger problem, as we know, and because of that, like this is why all black women in important professional positions are under suspicion, basically, because these DEI policies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. If I meet a black lady at a party, and it just comes up that she's a lawyer, I'm like, ooh, that's a little suspect. Fucking Shaniqua. Like, what the fuck, dude?
For so long, and leftists like Wanda Sykes and countless others have admitted that they give preference to black women, even if they're less qualified. Joe Biden admitted that famously. So, and you know, black women are not the only ones who benefit, but they check multiple DEI boxes, which means that now you have to wonder anytime a black woman is in an important position, but you have to wonder, well, did they get that job because they really happen to be the most qualified for it? Or did they get it because they were hired by somebody like Wanda Sykes, who will come out and say that she'll give the job to the less
motherfucker, play the clip,
qualified person if it's a black woman? So you have to wonder that. Were they put there because they checked the demographic boxes, or were they put there because they're qualified? You know, that's the result. It's not our fault. Right? I know that me saying that, like, that's going to get clipped. Matt Walsh says that we should be suspicious.
Well, this whole thing got clipped by fucking Media Matters.
Every black woman who's in a important professional position.
This is one of those things where if they pull that part out of context, the context just makes it worse. So they pulled more of it.
I said that we are, because that's the situation that you guys have created. Because you guys have decided to put the fact that someone's a black woman above qualifications. And so now every time a black woman is in any kind of professional position, we have to, like, how did she get that job? And no, we don't do that with white men. So we never have to be suspicious of white men in that way in any position.
Wait, what? Yeah, that's right. I've never met an old fucking unqualified white man. And when I worked in corporate fucking America, never met any old white dude who's like, how the fuck is this guy my boss?
There are plenty of white men who can be incompetent, who can be not good at their jobs, but no white man is going to be hired because he's a white man. So we never have to worry about that.
So he didn't show the clip. I could have sworn at the beginning he said we're going to watch it, that he didn't show it. I don't know. They clipped it out of context, though. All out of context. I like how he accused them of clipping just like a very small part, but they pulled like 4 minutes of that. So, folks, before we go into red light, we have one more clip to play. Just real quick, Raptor Blue, thank you for the raid, and any raiders here. We're recording a podcast right now. So the fact that I'm even talking to you at all is going to scare the shit out of the normies on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But everybody, the war on Christmas, don't forget, the war on Christmas is about to start, or at least it looks like it. I think this is the first shot fired. Did they just, what the fuck? Did they just have fucking crucifixion nails in that fucking thing? Okay, so don't get the Christmas tree cross. I think this is probably, I don't know. I'm not religious myself or whatever, but isn't that blasphemy to like turn the crucifix into like a Christmas tree? Like, I don't care. Do what you want to do. Put that ugly fucking thing in your house if you want, I guess. But I thought, isn't that blasphemous? So, everybody, we're getting ready for the war on Christmas around here. Make sure that you keep locked into this channel, because we will be doing the war on Christmas coverage as it plays out this year. And with that, the podcast is over. Thanks, podcast listeners. Do you hear my voice just crack? I'm fucking going through puberty 2.0. Thank you, podcast listeners, for checking out the pod. Make sure you check us out live some Sundays, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. As always, support the project, echoplexmedia.com. Click the support link at the top of the website. I suggest buying a hat, tinfoil hat, or just give me money directly. There are ways to do that. And I don't know, sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/Echoplex if you want the entire show, audio and video, a day early, including red light, which is going to happen in just a minute or two, actually 4 minutes here. So if you're watching live, listening live on the various places that you could watch or listen to this, stay put. We are going to change the color of the lights in here, change the contents of my beverage, and we're going to go on into the post game of the show. I got some great stuff actually in the post game. It's pretty rare, but this week Fox News made it into red light. We got little Nikki Fuentes seems to want to join forces with the Heritage Foundation. We got the Quartering, who can go fuck himself. And then we got Piers Morgan panel on the NYC election. And then somebody sent me yesterday a clip of Dave Smith on the Tim Pool show talking about SNAP and SNAP recipients. And that's going to be fucking terrible. But what's not terrible is Boomers by Periscope. And I'll see everybody, live viewers, on the flip side.